TikTok has long been a platform shrouded in controversy. The video sharing service preceded its Chinese counterpart Douyin releasing to the international market in September 2017. Its company, ByteDance, confessed in 2022 that employees had been compiling user data using location to trace leaked information. Yet that's far from the most worrying aspect of the app. While many argue it's marketed towards children, stories of disturbing and graphic content have reportedly popped up for all to view. It is important to note that TikTok is by far not the only platform to have the problems that will be discussed in this video, but it is one that is made accessible to impressionable young people, and the sheer volume of sketchy, weird, abhorrent content in comparison to other apps is concerning. I won't be able to talk about every example of a disturbing trend or every variation of that trend for obvious reasons. Instead, I'll mention specific examples to illustrate my point. The first section I intend to cover is the sheer amount of videos containing mistreatment of animals that appear on TikTok. Many of these videos appear innocent and harmless enough, yet the damage that can be caused is immense. I've mentioned trends before, and the platform has been known to be the home for many different challenges and trends. One relevant to this topic is the impulse buying of pets. Some popular videos on TikTok involve two friends going to a store to buy a pet, commonly a fish, captioned with, "This is your sign to buy a fish with your best friend." Oftentimes, makers will visit unethical chain pet stores and purchase inadequate habitats for that said animal. The issue herein is twofold. First, the popular "this is your sign" phrase is part of a trend that encourages an action without much thought behind it. Getting a pet is a big decision that includes planning. You are required to research a lot. Using the example of a fish, do you know how big their tank needs to be? Are they fresh or saltwater fish? Do they need a heater or a cooler? Do you know how to set up and clean a filtration system? Do you know how to do water changes and how often they need to be done? In many of these pet impulse buy TikToks, it's evident these considerations have not been made. The second problem is the frequent support of chain pet stores that mistreat their animals, store them in unsuitable environments, and sell those of poor breed due to a small genetic pool that mean they may have or be prone to physical abnormalities or diseases that hinder their quality of life. These stores are often manned by those who are not experts in pet care. They cannot give advice on what to buy for a pet in terms of habitat, food or toys, or how to look after them in the long term, and mostly will simply promote anything the company sells as the best option. Other trends floating around include deliberately antagonizing small dogs specifically to make a joke of the stereotype about small snappy dogs being mean. Maddie the Chihuahua was an infamous example of the owner getting in her dog's space when the dog clearly didn't want to be touched in order to teach her to accept love. In reality, a dog's socialization period is between 3 weeks old and 3 months old. Maddie was an older dog and therefore would not be able to be taught how to accept human interaction, made worse by the fact she had sundowner syndrome, and her owner intentionally tried to interact with her at night. One trend that took off was dangling earphones in a dog's face to see their reaction, most often aggressive. Dogs have incredibly sensitive hearing, and static feedback on a turned set of Bluetooth earbuds can be really uncomfortable for them. A more recent occurrence of annoying animals for fun includes placing sticky notes on cats' paws, laughing at the cat's attempts to remove them. The cats are clearly not having a good time and are panicked. Like the other examples mentioned, it's all about getting a reaction out of an animal for views. Even if this doesn't cause long-term damage, animals aren't toys. They don't exist to be a source of entertainment, and it's unnecessary stress to an animal that doesn't have to happen. Another trend seen in these videos are frequent pairings of predator and prey animals. I've observed cats and dogs being encouraged to interact with hamsters, rabbits, birds, bearded dragons and fish, the post to insisting that they're friends. These animals are not friends. Cats in particular can be incredibly dangerous. Barnatella henselae is the bacteria found under cats' claws, and a single scratch, even one that is not deep, can cause infection and death in smaller animals. Even if the predator animal does not lash out on the prey animal, it can be extremely stressful for the vulnerable party to be around them, and for small animals this can be deadly. Hamsters, for example, can suffer cardiac arrest if they are stressed out too much. As well as this, breeding farm videos can be seen on TikTok. Often they will be bizarre videos of axolotls with pearls, or faux birthing bunny videos, or bunnies being hatched from eggs. All are concerning. The common denominator for these videos are the poor conditions that the animals live in and how badly they are handled. There's many of them packed together in one area with not enough space for them to move around properly, which can be observed more specifically in the axolotl videos. In these videos, the axolotls will often be in shallow water or even out of water. Axolotls are fully aquatic animals and should not be removed from water. In regards to the bunny videos, a mother rabbit may be held inappropriately, high up or by the ears. Sometimes they'll place her on top of the litter with a hand out of shot, pulling the babies out from under her, faking giving birth. This is dangerous for both mother and the fragile babies being manhandled, easy to injure. Sometimes the filmer will mix litters to pretend a rabbit has had more babies than usual. 5 to 8 kits is an average amount, yet they will pass it off as if the rabbit has had dozens. Yet it is not a concern for those producing the content, because it's a breeding farm where they have an endless supply of animals, meaning they can mistreat them as much as they please and do not care if they are harmed or die. The egg hatching videos in particular are egregious, shoving newborn rabbits into eggshells to crack them, making them liable to breaking bones or damaging their hearing if they use tools to release them due to their sensitive sense of hearing. And of course, we have to talk about the infamous blender video. I shall not go into explicit detail, but instead tell you plainly. A video was posted on TikTok showing a kitten being placed in a blender and then into a microwave when the first method did not end its life. I am happy to say the culprit has been caught as of recording. While not available on TikTok anymore, many reported seeing it right on their For You page, the section of TikTok that recommends content to a person based on what they like. Countless TikTokers were subjected to vile cruelty without warning, even more shocking as they'd likely been recommended it due to their love of cats. It astounds me the video was on the platform at all and definitely beggars the question as to whether TikTok will have a stricter algorithm in regards to recommended content in the future. The next part of my video is going to be talking about content that revolves around children. There tends to be 3 different types of accounts that include children. Number 1, family accounts where they're part of an entourage. Number 2, accounts that are made by the parents for a child. And 3, children making their own accounts. I can understand wanting to share your family on TikTok. It's completely natural. Social media is there for you to share things about yourself, and your family can be a big part of that. The problem comes in when there's children involved who cannot consent. Even if a child has the faculties to be able to say yes or no and has the verbalization skills to confirm that they're okay with being filmed and having it posted on the internet, they do not have the informed consent to know what that means. They don't know that these videos will be on the internet forever and that this could impact their future. They do not have the ability to fully comprehend that. There are differences, however. Having a quick little vlog of your family at Christmas time and your family opening their presents and children are there, the odd family photo, that tends to be okay. The content isn't solely focused on the child. But what about parents that create TikTok accounts and purposefully involve their children because they know that their children will get them views? This can range from family vlogging channels on YouTube to what is now known as the TikTok mum phenomenon, and we'll be talking about a couple of these. First, I'll be mentioning Bebop and BB. I won't be going into too much detail into them because there's a whole conspiracy theory that may or may not have any merit to it, and I don't have time for that. Essentially, it's a mother and daughter duo. However, viewers noticed that there used to be a son in those videos, but was no longer there. It was later found out that he had confided in others that he felt like he was forced to be a part of the videos. And then after that, the mum filmed the son, making him do an apology video because he lied about not wanting to be part of the videos and that he was forced. It was very awkward, and he was obviously made to do that apology video. The next one is darker. Katie Boogie, or Bougie as some people pronounce it, was a TikTok mum who started to produce videos that included her dancing provocatively around her young son, and in the background there would be songs playing with explicit lyrics. And predictably, there were some disturbing comments. One saying that he clearly likes it, and she would respond saying, "Yeah, he's my man." That's your son, not your man. This was clearly rage baiting to try and get people to react, and some people did react and said that they should have the child be seen to by social services. As a response in a live stream, she yelled at her son saying that CPS were going to come and take him away and white people were going to have him. I don't know why them being white had anything to do with this, but she was yelling at her son for people being angry about what she was doing to him. Thankfully, her original TikTok account has been taken down. She has made others in an attempt to continue what she was doing, but those have also been taken down. Clearly, some parents have seen that exploiting their children and mistreating them on camera gets them views, and they put that above the needs of their own children in the chance that they will get some kind of notoriety and even monetary gain. Let's move on to parents who create accounts on behalf of their children. I can understand creating an account or a page dedicated to your child that is private for family members to see. Little videos of them taking their first steps, some pictures. That's all wholesome, that's grand. I don't understand making an account for a child and then making it public for everyone to see your child. And in the case of Eleanor Wren, it gets even more disturbing. What I will say is, I believe that Wren's mother started this account completely innocently. I don't think she had any ill will when creating it. But she had to have noticed that views and comments and likes would spike whenever something like this would happen. A video of Wren eating a hot dog. A video of Wren holding a pickle. These are evidently phallic items that resemble ding-dongs. And disturbing individuals would make comments saying that they wanted more of this content. Whenever she would post a picture of Wren in a swimming costume, they would say that she looks so pretty and they want more of this content. This is a 3-year-old girl. I don't think I need to tell you that a child eating a hot dog or eating a pickle or holding those items, or a child wearing a swimsuit, is completely innocent to the majority of people. Children have to eat, and it can be a great milestone for parents to see their child being weaned off of their mother's milk and trying new foods. It's really important for nutritional development. And them wearing a swimming costume is just that. It's totally normal for a child to want to learn how to swim, go to the pool, go to the beach. Yet, it is evident, based on some of the comments and the duets, that this was being used to fuel disgusting fantasies. A duet, by the way, is where you can take a video from a different TikTok creator and put it alongside your reaction to that video. So it's a split side-by-side 2 videos. And there would be some really creepy videos of men smiling at Wren while she was eating that food or was in that swimming costume. And Wren's mother is very aware of this. People have brought it to attention. Look at the amount of comments this video is getting. Look at the likes, look at the duets, look at the amount of downloads this TikTok video has. We know that the mother is aware of this because she made a video response to the controversy saying that she spoke to authorities and they couldn't find any evidence of Wren's videos being shared or uploaded to inappropriate or adult websites. When that wasn't the concern, people were upset because the content that was being directly put on Wren's TikTok page was fueling the behaviour seen in the comments and in the duets and in the amount of downloads, not that it was being shared to nefarious websites. And this is made even worse when you consider the fact that there's a video of Ren playing with adult items. I feel the need to express to you guys that after learning this following information, I felt the need to take a long, cold shower, repent to a nunnery, and eat nothing but porridge for the rest of my life. There was a video where Ren was playing with a tampon. I will say fully clothed, but she was miming the action of insertion of a tampon. I want to throw up knowing that creeps were watching this, and obviously the tampon in their minds was a substitute for something else. I actually want to cry. And a different video where she had a woman's razor and was pretending to shave her legs. There is no reason on this earth that a 3-year-old should know what a tampon is and is used for. I completely support and endorse young women being provided education about their own physical health and their bodies at the correct age. With periods starting as young as 9, Ren is still 6 years too young to be knowing about this, with periods starting between the ages of 9 to 12, perhaps a little older. There is zero practical reason that Ren should know what a tampon is, what it's used for, and how it's used, and therefore the only explanation that I can conjure in my mind is the insidious notion that her mother taught her about this so she could mime it on camera to fuel other people's sick fantasies, allegedly. I will reiterate, I don't believe it started off this way. I believe Ren's mother was innocently posting videos of her daughter eating and in swimming costumes. What I believe happened is that the mother noticed the spike in audience engagement on these particular videos, giving them a greater boost in the algorithm and therefore pushing the account out more, in turn gaining more followers on TikTok, and therefore she repeated this same process until she was able to accrue 17 million followers on the account and could monetize the content. I've had to switch recording locations, so if this sounds a little bit more echoey, I do apologise. But what about children with their own accounts? TikTok does have a restriction of being 16 or over in order to have an account, yet we know how easy it is to simply create a fake date of birth and be on your way. Ellie, go sit down. And they say that recording is easy, you can't get the staff nowadays. The point being that children can easily create their own accounts, and TikTok has 1 billion users. It's not reasonable to assume that TikTok has the capacity and ability in order to screen through every single account to make sure that everybody is 16 plus, meaning that a child can create a TikTok account and view all of the material we've discussed thus far. In this case, it's down to the parents. And yes, I am aware that micromanaging a child's online activities 24/7 for working parents is extremely hard, nigh impossible, which is where parental control software comes into play. I believe that parents should definitely be investing in this technology to keep their children safe, to limit their child's online access to certain things. Or simply do not provide a child with a device that connects to the internet. I hear you cry, but my child needs a phone. What if they need to call me? There's a number for that. In the United Kingdom, it's 999. In the US, it's 911. In the case that a child is in dire need of assistance, they can use a publicly available phone in an institution such as a school or an establishment such as a restaurant or shop. Failing that, they could always use a friend's mobile phone or the mobile phone of a trusted adult. Or a friend's landline. I know landlines still exist, shocking. And if you need them to call you directly, write down your number for them. Perhaps ask them to memorize your mobile number. It's 11 digits. I managed to do that at the age of 7. I'm fairly sure your child is fully capable of doing so. My child needs access to the internet to do schoolwork. Okay, so give them your laptop with parental control enabled, or they can go to the local library and use the computers there for free. Maybe deep down I'm a boomer and I was born in the wrong generation, and really I should have been born back when the war was starting and that all we had to play with was sticks and hoops. But I truly do not understand the need to give a young child a device with internet access, especially without parental control. Okay, but what about actually filming yourself committing crimes and posting it on TikTok? Of course, some of the things we've previously discussed in this video categorically are crimes, such as the mistreatment of animals and neglect of children. But just an entire channel dedicated to crimes for a prank, bro. Some of the world-class pranks you can see on Mizzy's account include breaking and entering other people's homes with at least one home having children present at the time, asking strangers if they want to die while wearing ski masks, stealing dogs, entering a train driver's carriage and interfering with the controls. I consider myself a student of criminal law, doing 2 years of it for my degree. A criminologist, if you will, not the protected term, the literal meaning of criminology, study of crime. I do not understand why protected career paths have ology at the end of their title, such as psychologist. You've done the schooling, you did the dang thing, you passed. You're no longer a student of, you're a master of. Aside from that tangent, the thing that criminologists and people who study crime enjoy the most are stupid criminals. There's nothing we enjoy more than somebody who actively documents their own crimes. It makes the court process flow just so much easier. A dumb criminal is my favourite thing, and you could probably argue that all criminals are dumb. Crime has literally nothing to do with the intelligence of a perpetrator and everything to do with the incompetence of a police force. John Wayne Gacy made up the most random of lies for no apparent reason, and yet he's heralded as some kind of charismatic, manipulative puppet master. But lucky for us, Mizzy is one of those criminals who just film themselves doing it and post it on social media, so it makes the ponderment of who did this very short and swift. The issue herein, it becomes very easy to make a trend, especially on TikTok, with these quick videos that can be boosted into the algorithm, and many other copycats may follow. Just look at the ice cream licking incident. Yeah, people went into stores and they would lick store ice cream and put it back again for some unsuspecting, poor, innocent civilian to pick up and buy. TikTok is currently the #1 place to be for trends and the home to many different new challenges. Most of them are fun little dance challenges. And then some people are going to be like Mizzy, who is so insufferable that even his own mother won't have anything to do with him for the foreseeable future. Let us hope that the majority of people who have seen his content remain as spectators rather than going on to participate in similar actions. That's all I have for this video today. I wanted to cover a few things briefly, some of the problems that have been seen on TikTok. Let me know down in the comments if I missed anything that you want me to talk about if I ever do a follow-up, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!